This is Paul McGann, and you're listening to the Fiveish Fangirls podcast.
The tangents this week continue all the way to episode 370 of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. Oh yes, breathe in deep, Lieutenant Commander. You too, Charlie. You feel that pounding in your heart, that tightness in the pit of your stomach, the blood rushing to your head? Do you know what that is? That's adventure. The thrill and the fear and the joy of stepping into the unknown. That's why we're all here. And that's why we're alive. Okay, that came off a little Frankenstein, but whatever. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. So glad you could join us. Let's start off like we're doing with virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Bellevue.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's a going. So,
Yeah.
oh, all right. Well, we have got quite a bit of ground to cover, so we're going to jump right into it. First up, news. Not a whole lot of news, but first off, reminder that the Gen Con catalog, say that 5 times fast, is now live. So you can go start making it your wish lists for when event registration opens up on the 15th of May. And I've already been in there myself making a wish list. So
Nice.
got some maybe tried some new things this year. So we'll see.
Sweet.
Yeah, it all just depends on whether stuff sells out or not quickly.
And time turner, and may your schedules be nice where you don't have to be up at that one time that you were.
Oh no, I
years
totally
ago.
like there's some of that. Yeah, there's been times where there have been events where I'm like, oh, I really want to do that, but that time of day just that ain't happening. So sorry. If the day ever comes that I'm staying like at a hotel downtown, maybe.
Yep.
But because I don't stay down there, yeah, no, I don't do very early in the morning. I don't do really late at night. So
Well,
yeah.
you still work close down there, don't you?
Well, yeah, I do.
I was going to say, roll out a cot in your office or your cubicle or whatever it is you have.
I'm pretty sure they'd frown upon that.
Oh, okay. It was a thought.
And I'd kind of need someplace to shower and
True. Yeah.
all that too. So
Your staff room doesn't have a shower.
no, it doesn't. We're not that fancy.
Ours does, but I don't think anybody uses it.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure why. But anyway,
We don't have we have plenty of shampoo, dog shampoo, but we don't have a shower.
it's like, I know that smell.
Yeah, no, that ain't happening. So, I just do what I do. I bet, it's taken me several years to figure out how to do this whole Gen Con thing. Now that I've got it figured out, if it ain't broke,
Don't fix it.
don't mess with it. So
Yes, indeed.
So, but yeah, go in there, make that wish list, make sure you got it in the priority order that you want, so that on the 15th, when the purchase window opens, you can just go and hope you get the ones you want. So,
Yep, get your stuff, get in, get out, go back to bed or whatever.
Mhm.
yeah, I think it opens at like noon or something. So
Oh,
I
Well,
mean,
that's
I mean,
good.
you are talking about your gaming nerds, so yeah, they might just be going to bed when the registration goes on sale. So who knows?
Who knows, indeed.
So strike while the iron is hot. You never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Oh. So there is that. So have fun perusing the event catalog. It's nice to see it back to its humongous, oversized monstrosity that it normally is. So that's always nice. It's always good
Yep.
to have options. So it also helps that it's back in its proper place in the calendar, so that they can actually use things like the football stadium, because it's not in the middle of the NFL season like it was last year.
Yeah, that's a little tricky. I'm sure the Colts
Yeah.
the Colts schedule takes precedent, even though they lost to Jacksonville at the end. I'm still not sore about that at all. But that's another podcast.
Yeah, that's just the way we roll around here sometimes.
Apparently so. Anyway,
moving on to more exciting things like
yes, I'm so excited about this because so they announced that this will be part 5 Sailor Moon Crystal. It's actually Sailor Moon Cosmos. They're going to do it the same way they did the 4th story arc, which is split it into 2 movies, which worked really well with Eternal. I think. I'm just waiting for the year to pass so Netflix can say, okay, you can put it on Blu-ray now, because I really want it on Blu-ray. But yes, so this is the 5th and final story arc going along with the manga, and this is the one, spoiler alert for 30 plus year old spoilers, rocks fall, everyone dies, but then they come back. This is a story arc that in the anime that they originally did, it was so completely borked and just kind of a mess, even though everyone claims that they love it, and I'm just like, I think you're full of crap. But
right.
But the creator, like, she was to the point, because everyone kept asking her, make more. So basically, she just killed everybody off at the end.
I'm done.
Come back. Yeah, basically, like the last. I don't remember how many chapters it is, but it's at least 1 volume. It's like, okay, we're gonna kill you, and then bring these people in, gonna kill you, and bring these people in, and gonna kill you. And that's how the ending goes. It's so over the top ridiculous.
Don't look at me funny, or I'm gonna kill you too.
Yeah, pretty much. But then Sailor Moon saves everybody in the end, and there's a wedding at the end, and hallelujah, and everyone's happy, and that's the end. And it's just, I just kind of feel like, no, and it's just so utterly ridiculous in that way, but it's a little bonkers and kind of fun. So it's exciting that we're gonna get the full set. The completionist in me is happy, and yeah. So no news yet on an English dub, or because everything's the trailer is in Japanese, obviously, and but I'm sure there will be international dubbing, whether it's on Netflix again or on Hulu like the others are, or something else, Crunchyroll. I don't know. I have no. Yeah, but I'm just glad we got a trailer finally. So yay, there is progress being made. So just I'll keep an eye on that and post any more news as we get it, which the way things have been going will kind of be slow. So we do with what we have. But yeah, the Sailor Stars arc is just when I finally read the manga version, I was just like, you got to be kidding me. But it was hilarious in a wasn't supposed to be hilarious sort of way. But the 4th story arc was wonderful, and so I'm happy. I just need that 5th one, so I have the rest. That's all.
Cool. All right, so moving on to some housekeeping. We are in a new month. Thank you, interwebs, for once again all the Justin Timberlake NSYNC related memes.
There's been some, if you follow some of the Queen websites, it's just like, hey, it's gonna be May, and there's pictures of Brian May popping up. I'm like, cool.
Which I think is a little more, I don't want to say appropriate, but a little less cringy.
Yeah, nice, a little more our speed.
Yes, we'll say. Well, yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Also, this is my birthday month, so I just am kind of like, really? This is what you're going with?
Give me the astrophysicist curly-haired guitar player, please.
Yes. No, my favorite one is the one where it's like astrophysicist Brian May, with assistance from F. Mercury, postulated that the world does indeed revolve because of fat bottom girls.
Some girls,
and because this has not been disputed for the last 40 years, it is now scientific fact. And I'm like, oh, I love it.
Nice.
I've been meaning to share that on my page, and I keep forgetting.
Yes.
Anyway.
So for the May book club, we have the Ruby's Curse, written by River Song herself, Alex Kingston. And the book poll for June is Whispers of Terror, Project Twilight, Storm Warning. Those are 3 audios. And then for a book, The Doctor Trap, which, if memory serves, is a 10th Doctor and Donna Noble adventure. So
I believe you are correct.
You have till the end of the month to make your pick. And don't let, you could maybe have tonight's discussion sway your vote, maybe. You're welcome.
Perhaps. You never know.
Mm-hmm. And then I did happen to put in a guest appearance to Fandom Zone. I talked with Nick and Charles this past week's episode of Moon Knight. So if you want a little before next week's our discussion,
this week's our discussion next week, and this week's finale that's coming up day after tomorrow as we're recording this.
Yeah. There's a lot of ground to be covered in one more episode.
Assuming I survive Thursday night, I should be appearing on Happiness and Darkness this coming Sunday to talk Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Like, I'd like to say my body is ready, but my emotions are not. But I don't even know if my body is ready for this. I don't think I am prepared for just the amount of madness, pun intended, that is going to occur.
I'm just wondering how much explaining I'm going to have to do with my mom at the end of watching this, because she does want to go with me, and I'm like, okay, all right,
save all your questions for the end.
Yes. What has she seen?
She's seen the original Doctor Strange. I don't know. We've been so busy with other stuff that we haven't had a chance to get her through some of the episodes of WandaVision. So it's just like she does know who Scarlet Witch is. So that's a bonus. So yeah. So we will make do.
Yep.
Or I just set her up.
Or we'll just all be dead, and it's been nice knowing y'all.
It's just like, okay, Mario, Coco, you keep mom occupied. Put WandaVision on Disney Plus. Enjoy.
Or barring that, just enjoy the ride and just accept that it's going to be bonkers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, especially considering right now, as we're recording this, the red carpet is happening in Los Angeles. So,
and I have heard rumblings through Facebook streams to basically stay off Twitter, because there are some people that are going on and spoiling stuff.
Well, the good thing, I barely go on Twitter, like maybe once every other month.
I saw something that I kind of wish I hadn't, and it technically wasn't a spoiler, because it was something that was in one of the trailers or TV ads. It was just something that somebody caught that was either watching it like on super slow motion, or like zooming in 500% to catch every little detail. So it's something
Oh boy.
I
that
think I know what you're
it's
talking about.
expected and is also teased in the official releases.
Mhm.
But it's still, it's like
Mhm.
when you know me, when we get to this point, I don't want to see anything. I don't want to hear anything.
Right.
I'm like la 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 la
Mhm.
la la la
Yep.
la. So
Yep.
uh like don't talk to me until after I've seen it. So yeah,
Yes.
I'm just gonna be over here
Minding my own business.
looking at other things. Yes. So
Yes.
Bring me knitting.
I've got gold standard
Yes.
homework to keep me occupied. So.
Yes. Yes. Bring me my knitting, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, which speaking of gold standard, how's that for a segue? Also,
That's a
have a new
great
episode.
segue.
Have a new episode of Gold Standard, the Oscars podcast, in the feeds out there for you. We're at episode number 49, which is crazy,
Wowza.
with Rocky from
Happy soon to be
76.
50th episode.
Yeah, I wish there was a better movie, but
What is for the 50th? I can't remember. What is episode 50?
Annie Hall,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
when it should have been Star Wars.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I remember having that discussion with you when we did the Patreon for the Star Wars.
Yep. So
Well, never
That-
let it be said the Academy really cared about being
it's-
right about anything.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's going to be just a shitty discussion because we've already kind of had that discussion because we've covered Star Wars on Patreon. But also Woody Allen is just I'm not even going to go there because I'll save that for Gold
Yeah.
Standard. Anyway,
Mhm.
That is
we're going to
probably
move on
wise.
now.
We are
Yes.
moving right
I will
along.
Moving right
say
along.
that.
Referencing better films. I mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
Better directors.
Yes. Hey, Muppet Co-Pilots, can't go wrong.
Yep.
exactly.
All right, going on to feedback. We got a comment, a decent sized comment actually,
Quite.
on YouTube from
Oh, cool.
I'm not sure how they pronounce this. Patricier?
Patricia?
I
I don't know.
Patricia. I've been watching a lot of Miraculous Ladybug these days,
Yeah.
and I'm tempted to pronounce it in French.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I
Yes.
went to their YouTube page. They've got videos up, and they appear to be male, but once again, I don't want to assume. So just we're gonna go with our best guess at how to pronounce this. But anyway, thank you, whoever you are,
Indeed.
and however you pronounce this. So, and obviously, this is this person's opinion, but that's why we offer the opportunity for feedback.
Indeed.
So they comment, obviously talking about Fantastic Beasts and Grindelwald and all that fun stuff. So I said, oh girls, this franchise is definitely worth it, for we need to worry about more is people refusing to go see Fantastic Beasts and Secrets of Dumbledore, all because of her comments, meaning J.K. Rowling. I'd highly encourage and recommend everyone, please encourage as many other people as you can as well, please. See it as many times as they can in theaters, and if even possible, buy a ticket for it in place of going to see another movie so that way it still gets money without you actually having to see it multiple times. Buying as much merchandise directly related to it as possible will truly help. Also remember that if you're refusing to see it because of hashtag Johnny Depp is my Grindelwald, then please remember that this movie needs to do well as to give Johnny the chance to actually come back in the later movies. For as an example, for the actor who played McNair, the Executioner was recast for Prisoner of Azkaban and then came back for Order of the Phoenix. Bottom line is that if Fantastic Beasts doesn't do well and they don't make the remaining two movies, then Johnny definitely will never be back as Grindelwald. Plus, you have to remember that it's about to be a new company with new people overseeing it. So as such, you were technically not paying that company and are actually giving more of a chance to them not having him actually return, especially depending on what may happen with the results of his trial that's going to be happening shortly after the movie comes out. New people taking over Warner Brothers right before it comes out. Also remember in regards to her that she doesn't necessarily get a whole lot of money from this. That is true. As well, the fact remains that many people have pointed out she already has so much money that not supporting the series will not really change any kind of her, quote, power that you may have against her. And after all, the series should not suffer all because of her, for regardless of what you may think, nothing, I repeat, nothing will ever truly take away what a series overall truly means to you, let alone other people. Again, very true. And again, it's not the series that's the problem at all in any kind of way. Also keep in mind that even though it's not the best example, they have at least one transgender person or someone who identifies themselves as they in the cast. So much for her transphobia.
Well, there's a lot to unpack here, if I may. Going by what Johnny Depp has at least said about Disney and their treatment of him in this trial, I highly doubt, even if he was offered the chance to come back, that he would take it, which he is well within his rights to tell them to pound sand. And so and also a lot of people were put off from the movie, not because of any extraneous stuff going on, but mostly because the second movie kind of sucked, really.
It's kind of a hot mess.
It is. Right. It really doesn't. And even this movie, from what I've been able to gather, it's just people talking. Like there's not a lot of magic going on. They walk around, they're like, and we're talking in a train, and then we're gonna go and we're gonna talk at Hogwarts, and we're gonna talk over here, and it's like, where's the magical stuff going on?
Yeah.
So
the fantastical bits that brought us all in the first place.
Yeah, and it's like J.K. Rowling, bless her heart, she is more suited to being a book writer because a lot of what she writes works wonderful in a book, not so much in a visual medium. So for a book or even an audiobook, she does great. As a screenwriter or a screenplay, I mean, and yes, Steve Kloves came in, but he was never my favorite of the screenwriters. Not so much. So, and as far as the other, I'm going to say this, and I don't want to bring politics into it, but it does, and I'm not going to touch on it too much. My looking at this, the whole situation, is that for years and years and years, we were told, listen to victims, listen to their stories, listen to their concerns. And we have someone, she has come out and been a wonderful advocate for victims of abuse and things like that, and domestic abuse, and poverty and all the things that she overcame. And then she comes out, and because it is a sensitive issue and a sensitive topic, and maybe doesn't, and it's a messy situation, as many life situations are, to have her be treated as she has been treated just for speaking up and saying, hey, look, there's another side to all this, and everybody jumped down her throat because of it, that does not sit well with me personally. And I think there is a conversation to be had, but you cannot have that conversation if you're going around telling everybody, saying, well, you're just a blankety blank istophobe, fill in whatever your epithet is. So I think we need to have some more conversations. I think we need to listen to people and their experiences. I mean, I've definitely had a lot of experiences that I wouldn't know how to explain without getting told, well, you're just a terrible human being. Yeah. So that is kind of my thought on the situation. You're kind of coming from a lot of different perspectives here, with the Johnny Depp situation, and also the Ezra Miller situation and all of that's going on. Like,
yeah,
holy cow.
There's a lot
there's a lot going on,
going
and also
on,
and also the
yeah.
new people who own Warner Brothers, they're this guy that's in charge, as far, from what I've been able to learn in my research, and listening to people who have spoken out and who know, they're like, he's about making money. He's not about, oh, this is our favorite, this franchise had so many favorite things, and we need to keep it alive for people. No, he wants to make money, and there's already been talks of cuts in things like DC, and I mean, with CNN is a big thing. I don't want to bring in news, but they are part of it, and he is taking the weed whacker and cutting all of the excess. So if there is something wrong with the franchise, I mean, CW's already gotten so many cutbacks. It's just
Batwoman got canceled. Legends of Tomorrow got canceled. So I mean,
and usually CW,
it's happening.
Yeah, usually
they keep their
CW
shows.
holds on. They do, and and this guy and his team, they're all like, nope, cut, because they're not these things aren't making money, and honestly, it's not about being artistic, and it's not about a message. It's all
about the almighty dollar.
It's about the almighty dollar.
Ratings.
That's how things
people
get
in
made.
Seats.
People don't want to hear this, but you need to make money in order to produce anything. So you can be artistic and whatever all you want, but if the person who's paying the bills doesn't see a return, you're done. And I know that's not a popular opinion to say, but it's kind of the reality that's smacking everybody in the face right now, especially in the entertainment industry. And I mean, I don't want to sit here and be kind of a bitch about it, but sorry, it's what's happening.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right that
you're spot on.
It comes down to the almighty dollar at the end of the day. That's just the world that we live in. And money comes from butts and seats and people watching stuff on TV and getting ratings and and making the advertisers happy. So if people aren't watching, then they're not going to invest the money in it, regardless of what kind of clout there may be to an IP.
Yeah, and you may love it. You may be a big fan of this thing, but they need normal people like Holly's mom, for an example. We were just talking about with her going to Doctor Strange, and you're like, you know what? I don't know what's going on, but I'm enjoying the ride. And there's a lot more people like that than there are of people who are listening to podcasts and getting worked up over every minute
the
detail.
diehards that will
diehards,
their
and
butt goes in the seat regardless of
but they're
anything.
But it's the normies that to use a phrase, it's the normies that make those that pay those millions and millions and millions of dollars, because quite frankly, there's a lot of us nerds and fangirls and geeks and whatever you want to call us, but we're still a minority, which is fine, because everybody's got their thing. But these movies don't do well unless a vast majority of people show up. And if a vast majority of people aren't showing up to Fantastic Beasts because the last movie was too confusing, or whatever other thing is going on, then oh well, that's how it's been for forever. I mean, we were just kind of mentioning with Gold Standard, they're reviewing Annie Hall, and we're thinking like, what the heck is that? But we know Star Wars, absolutely, because it's been because it stood the test of time, because people love it. So anyway, that was my probably needless speech on the whole thing, but I've been following the whole Warner Brothers thing, and it's been hilarious. in some places.
Well, and it's so crazy because Chauncey and I we had a little day date yesterday, and we were in the car for a while, and even he was like, are you watching this Johnny Depp thing that's going on? Like even he knows about it.
Yes.
And he was questioning why are they live streaming it? Why is this being so public for something like this? And that I don't know. I don't know if that's like a jurisdiction thing that like all all cases need to be public record and that's just the easiest way to do it?
It's well, it's a celebrity, and there's a lot
Right.
of legal YouTubers who have, it's been kind of a thing where they'll live stream court cases are available publicly and they'll comment on it. And I think a lot of that is what's going on too.
Yeah.
So there's people who like have no clue what's going on, no interest in law, but there's like someone who can explain it to them in a way they can understand.
Yeah.
And also, everybody knows who Johnny Depp is, and there was some weird controversy with him, and this is what it is, and ew, she's a you know what.
Yeah.
and everybody
and then the interesting thing, she fires her PR firm.
Oh yeah, I hadn't got to that part.
One. I was like, okay, like that's really gonna do you any good right now.
This is why tabloids are such a lucrative market, because everybody wants to know, even though everyone's like, ew, tabloids are so gross and so this. It's like, no, there's a reason that they're still around. Because everybody has to know, even though they pretend they don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
That went down quite.
Don Henley was right when he wrote Dirty Laundry.
Yeah.
Go pop in Scandal by Queen while you're at it.
That too, yes.
Because now I've got Freddie in my head going, here come the bad news, open the floodgates. It's a catchy song, by the way.
Yes.
Yep. So
anyway.
But yeah. Obviously we've pretty much voiced our opinions on the last episode. So I think that your comments are your comments are perfectly valid. We really appreciate your input.
Of course.
And I think in a way this is kind of kind of like what you were saying, Chrissy, where we really just need to be talking to each other.
Yeah. And not just
and not just sending tweets.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, is actually making that human connection.
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of the situation, I'm looking at this like, there's some nuance to this that nobody wants to hear, because they just want to have their bumper sticker and wave their banner and just thump their chest and say, I'm right, you're wrong. And I think if we can, I mean, everybody's talking about how divided, not just in the United States, but everywhere, how divided everybody is. And someone's like, well, we need to be united. And it's like, okay, united over what? And well, we just need to be united, which sometimes people take to think, oh, so I just agree with you. I mean, we're all people, and our opinions don't change just because, I want to agree with my friend and not fight, but people used to talk about these things and have a difference of opinion, and it was okay. Like, I know it's kind of a weird thing to contemplate, but it's like, it's something.
Still be friends.
Yes.
But sometimes you could agree to disagree,
but you didn't treat. Yeah, you didn't treat people like they were the spawn of Satan just because they didn't vote the same way you did, or don't celebrate the same things you do, or whatever the divide is. And I feel like you
can be team pineapple goes on pizza and team not, and be perfectly fine.
I love pineapple on pizza, by the way.
Oh, me too.
Me too.
But I know a lot of people who are like, ew, that's gross. And I'm like,
okay.
Then you don't have to have my pizza, but that's okay.
Exactly.
We'll both have, I don't know, we'll both have root beer or something.
Yes.
Or chocolate ice cream. It's okay. It's okay, guys. It's not a crusade. It's fine. But I don't know. Sometimes I think
we can all agree, though, that the toilet paper roll, it does go over, though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
I tried it under just to kind of once to see what it was like, and I'm like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, I gave it a try. I didn't like it.
Not for you.
Exactly.
Not for me.
We do have one bathroom where we do have it under, but only because the space, it's the only way that really like it works. a very
Well,
tight spot.
Well, you're always going to have extreme
Yes.
situations where you may
there's
have to.
there's always construction, like you look at things, you're like, this was a very weird construction choice. Why did you do that? But that's like 20-30 years in the past.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
We
Well,
just talked about that. We just had a conversation about toilet paper rolls with my grandparents this past weekend.
We have gone, oh my gosh, this poor feedback. We have gone from talking about Fantastic Beasts to toilet paper rolls.
that's the way we roll around here.
Yep.
Discussions have to start somewhere.
At least we haven't talked about gutters.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Anyway,
there's a deep cut.
Yep.
Bingo! Moving on to Shalane's feedback, because we do have feedback for Shalane too.
Yes, we do.
She said, she asked, why did you girls think they weren't continuing the Fantastic Beasts films? According to J.K. Rowling, there will be 2 more films. And again, because it comes down to the mighty dollar. And just because the creator of the series says, yes, there's going to be more, she does not have the final go-ahead of spending the millions and millions of dollars it takes to make a movie. So
it comes down to the studio, and it's a lot different than, here, I wrote a book, go publish it and make $1 gazillion.
Right.
It's,
and I don't know how willing she be to bankroll to finish the rest.
So it was an interesting experiment, but it didn't really go as
it's really going to come down to what this movie makes and what they think they can get out of it in the future. So
and it's not
that's why they pay somebody the big dollars and not us for
and there's a whole boardroom that's making these decisions, so it's not just one person. It's they're very picky about these things. So I don't know, we will see. I'm not saying never, I'm just saying there's a lot of there's a lot of plates spinning that any one of them
and a lot of hoops that need to go through.
Especially right now. There's just so much chaos going on in Hollywood right now, and it's I'm just kind of like, I'm glad I'm not involved, because dang.
I think we could safely say that the plan is to do 2 more, but time will tell.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, and we'll just have to leave it at that for now.
If they make more, well, there's more Eddie Redmayne as Newt. So yay.
That is true.
Exactly.
I would totally be down for that. So.
Yeah.
Because he is adorable.
Let's give him his own show.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then she says, in her opinion, Mads Mikkelsen was a better Grindelwald than Johnny Depp. Again, more than titled to your opinion. I don't think he was necessarily better or worse, just different.
Yeah, I agree with that. I didn't hate either performances.
Yeah.
No.
But she said he's also really good in the first Doctor Strange movie, which like I said, Mads is a really good villain. He's just one of those actors that does a really good villain. So Grindelwald, obviously Caecilius in the first Doctor Strange. He's in Rogue One. So he plays Hannibal Lecter. He played Hannibal Lecter in his own TV series. So
TV series, yes.
That just tells you how good of a bad guy he could be.
Yes. Wheelhouse, he has it.
Yes, I would not complain about seeing more villainous roles from him in any capacity. Although his role in Rogue One was a lot of fun, because you're supposed to think he's a bad guy, but
he's bad,
but not necessarily.
Nope.
Yep. So, and then she said, asks, "Did you girls know Johnny Depp isn't coming back to play Jack Sparrow in the next pirate movies?" Which, again, we already covered that. So
several times.
Yeah. She says, anyway, Secrets of Dumbledore was good. She says she's sad that Tina wasn't in it very much, but she still loves Niffler. He always steals the show, like Baby Yoda and BB-8 in Star Wars. That's very true.
Yes.
So Nintendo stealing the show, like he steals all the shiny things.
When
Yeah.
in
Yes.
doubt, throw something cute on the screen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then she mentioned some other IPs that weren't necessarily done by Universal, but are in the Universal parks. It's like they have the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in both Florida and California. So things like Transformers, The Simpsons, which I guess they're going to keep the Simpsons stuff in the Universal park, just kind of like their weird 90s X-Men Marvel superhero stuff. So, and yeah, they did have Nickelodeon things at Universal Studios too, which was weird.
Well, they used to have Nickelodeon, the Nickelodeon studio at
yeah.
Universal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, they did.
I remember that. I visited once.
I just always
Same
saw
here.
advertised at the end of like Legends of the Hidden Temple or
Yes.
Guts or some of those other Nickelodeon game shows. I was like, I want to go to Universal and I want to go to Nickelodeon Studios, and it never
Yeah.
happened. And now it doesn't exist.
Yeah. She says she's glad that Warner Brothers decided to keep the movie in theaters and not do that whole in theaters on demand thing on the same day. Me too. There's something about seeing the Wizarding World on a big screen that just
Yes.
feels really good. She mentioned some of her favorite parts, but they're kind of possibly spoilery, so I'm not going to mention those out loud for any of our listeners that have not seen the movie yet. Although one of these is in one of the trailers when Dumbledore says 10 points to Hufflepuff to Newt. So like, I'm pretty sure Newt cannot earn points for Hufflepuff after graduating, but I enjoy the sentiment.
We all know what it means.
And he's not.
They're
not
honorary
yet,
points.
so
Yes. And then her last comment again, also kind of spoilery, so we're not going to mention that. So sorry, Shalane, we chopped some of your comments.
The statute of limitations has not yet run out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Apologies.
But again, thank you for the feedback. So, all right. So we're going to move on to this week's main topic, which is a double shot of Doctor Who.
Yay.
So we'll get the out of the way with the second Easter special in New Who's Run. Legend of the Sea Devils, which I think this was just kind of we need something to air in between the start of the year and Jodie's regeneration. So let's just do a fun little romp with a character we've not seen in a while. So it was nice to see the Sea Devils back. They look really good in this.
Yeah. And it almost kind of felt like they could have put this in the regular season a little bit.
Especially considering how short this was. This was only 48 minutes long.
Because usually the specials are like an hour or an hour and change long.
This was,
and it could
really short.
It could be a budget thing. It could just be the BBC thinking, and the ratings have not been so great lately. And
or they looked at RTD's wish list and like, oh, we better start cutting corners now, even though there is going to be a new production company.
They're probably like, well, we're good at cutting budgets, so you know.
What else is new?
That being said, it was a fun romp. I mean, it wasn't anything like world changing as far as the greater Doctor Who lore. But
At
it
this
was
point,
it was
that's
a
probably a
great
good thing.
reintroduction to a classic villain that we have not seen
Yes.
in a very, very long time. We've
Yes.
not seen the Sea Devils since what? Peter Davis's Doctor?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
And Pertwee, between
Pertwee.
Pertwee and Davison.
Well, see, this is the thing: is classic Who often use the Sea Devils and the Silurians interchangeably,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
they're cousins.
They're cousins, but they're not the same.
Yeah, they're
So
not the
it's a
exact same
little
species.
Yeah, so it's a little tricky because for me anyway, I keep thinking, okay, Warriors of the Deep, was that Sea Devils or Silurians? And I keep forgetting, excuse me, which one it is. So it could be Peter Davison, it could be John Pertwee.
But I think there's an actual Sea Devils episode that's a Pertwee.
Pertwee,
It's just the Sea Devils. Warriors of the Deep, I think they get name dropped.
Yes.
But aren't actually seen.
Right.
Or they appear very briefly, but not like as image, but not as actual physically there. And Warriors of the Deep is actually Silurians, I believe.
Yeah. And the BBC didn't do us any favors when they made that box set of
yes.
Yeah, it was all of the Sea Devils and Silurian episodes from Classic Who, and it's like, okay, which ones were that? And then anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Point is, there's a bit of confusion in some.
Now we need for RTD to bring back is the Merca, and the trifecta will be.
Well,
not that the Merca's really related, but I think of like aquatic like lizard creatures in Doctor Who.
Although Big Finish did do a little bit of a retcon there, and the Merca that we saw on TV is actually a baby, so of course it's kind of. And in the Big Finish audio, the real like adult full-grown Merca is a lot more terrifying.
Hey, you know what? If we could get a full-size T-Rex to swallow the TARDIS,
anything can,
why not have a full-size Merca
and it's
on TV?
And it's utterly terrifying, and we're like, oh, that's what it was supposed to be.
Supposed to be, yes.
Yeah.
I love the Merca, just in its own little baby toddler monster.
That's why it is the officially unofficial mascot of Traveling the Vortex. So.
Yes.
Yes. So it has a warm, gooey, soft spot in my heart.
Yeah. Now, what I found interesting with this story is, we've got pirates, but not like your Johnny Depp type pirates. We have, Asian, in this case, Chinese pirates, and she's not the villain per se. She's just kind of what kickstarts this entire thing. So she's more of an antagonist. This pirate queen, Madam Ching, was an actual person.
Yep.
Yeah,
she was an actual Chinese pirate who sailed around the South China Sea in the early 1800s. She was married to another pirate. Her husband was a pirate too. And after he died, she took control of his kind of fleet, and she was the unofficial commander of the Guangdong Pirate Confederation. Her fleet composed of 400 junks, which is a type of ship, and between 40 and 60,000 pirates in 1805. And she went up against like the East India Company, the Portuguese Empire. She ended up surrendering in 1810. But she got to keep her good chunk of the fleet, and it kept her out of jail, actually. And even at the time when she surrendered, she had 24 ships and over 1,400 pirates. And ended up living a nice long went into retirement, ended up dying at the age of 68.
Which for that time was pretty
Pretty
good.
old.
Good. Yeah.
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 That was ancient.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I thought that was really
That was
cool.
like
that,
90s
I
or
was
100s back
Yeah.
then.
yeah.
then.
It's like,
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, we think, in the West, we think pirates, we think, Blackbeard, Long John Silver, those kind of things. But there were actually pirates in the, the South China Sea and Asia and those sorts of things. So it's really interesting to get into that history and those. I don't want to call it lore or legends, but you get those larger than life historical figures, and sometimes you wonder, okay, what really happened? What's been exaggerated? But it's really cool, regardless.
yeah, it was pretty cool to watch. Fun little romp. Poor Dan.
Yeah.
Tricking him to wearing the stereotypical
she
pirate
has
garb.
got him good. And the doctor channeling River's song with, what in the world are you wearing, or something?
Yeah.
along
What
those
in the
lines.
name of sanity?
Sanity are you wearing? Yes.
Yep. So yeah, it wasn't terrible. But it wasn't amazing either. It was just kind of in the middle, just kind of a fun little romp,
Yeah.
really. So you can't complain too much. That being said, little teaser we got for the yet to be scheduled centenary BBC centenary / Jodie's regeneration episode, as we mentioned last week when talking about Big Finish, that we will be seeing Sacha Dhawan, Master, return for Jodie's regeneration, because who else is going to be there when the Doctor regenerates but the Master. But the Doctor is not going to be going into this regeneration alone. Hopefully their paths will actually cross, and we're not, it's not going to be like a whole, like when Captain Jack returned the first, the first time, and
a
he and the Doctor
teaser,
never
and they're all like, "Here, look who we're bringing back, totes."
Yeah, so hopefully they will actually be in some scenes together. But we are going to see the return of Sophie Aldred as Ace and Janet Fielding as Tegan.
Which is an interesting combination, but not
Yes.
an unwelcome one. It's kind of like, okay, well, definitely, Big Finish be taking notes of where you can stick these some adventures with these two in here. Because yay. I mean, first off, it's awesome to see that Janet Fielding is feeling well enough to come film, because for a while there as I understand in the updates, she was fighting cancer, and it seemed to be a little touch and go at places. So I am really glad to see her coming in for this, for sure.
Yeah.
And always love Sophie Aldred.
Yes. Yes. So I'm so excited. I was like, oh yeah, like, Ace, she's probably gonna blow something up.
Yep. I wonder if
or beat something up, one of the two,
with the baseball
Tegan
bat.
is probably gonna yell at something, so all is right with the world.
Yes. I wonder if Ace's baseball bat isn't in the dark archive somewhere.
It might be.
Along with some Nitro 9.
I bet it was. I mean,
someone call up Kate.
They had River Song shoes in the dark archive, and I know you got to go back and watch Day of the Doctor and freeze frame a few things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will wait until they decide to tell us when exactly this thing is going to air. So.
So anyway, so there's some fun teasers for you.
Yeah. So Doctor Who, current day, still going, which is always a good thing. So, but we're going to turn the clock back a little because Chrissy's birthday is coming up. So
Yes, indeed.
it's her turn to pick a Big Finish audio for us to listen to
Yes.
and discuss.
Yes. And this
She
time,
picked.
yes, I wanted to. I mean, yes, I am known for loving the Fifth Doctor, and that has not changed. That being said, the Eighth Doctor needs a little bit of love, especially on audio. So I went with Storm Warning, which was the very first Eighth Doctor audio that Big Finish produced. It introduced the companion Charlotte Pollard. And no, I did not name my daughter after Charlotte Pollard. That is a lovely coincidence because Charlie's amazing. But yes, this has always been a favorite of mine.
And this is
You know,
early Big Finish. This is
Yes.
mainline number 16.
yes, and
Yes.
this is. I think we've told the story before about how when Big Finish was starting and they were trying to recruit, the classic doctors to come on board, and they were trying to get Paul McGann, and the the agents, said, "Oh, I don't think he'll be interested in that," without consulting him. And then, they were going on and doing these, and Paul McGann was like, "Well, wasn't I asked?" And the agent was like,
said no.
yeah. And this all comes from interviews that Paul has done with Big Finish and other places. So don't think I'm just pulling this out of nowhere. But yeah, he's like, no, I really want to do that. They just
And current agent happened to be former agent.
yeah,
I would
that.
assume.
Yeah, I don't know about that detail, but it is not outside the realm of possibility. But yes, so they contacted Big Finish, and they were like, "Heck yes, you can come do the Eighth Doctor." And it's a little tricky because there's some rights issues with the TV movie,
Right. Which is why we've not gotten
no
Grace
or Lee. But Daphne Ashbrook and Yi Ji So have appeared in Big Finish just as different characters.
right.
So they are not left out.
Because they're original characters for the movie, and therefore they are owned by Universal of all people.
Yeah, yeah. It's the rights for the TV movie are just kind of all over the place. But anyway, so but Paul McGann can come in and play the Doctor, and we have our new companion Charlie Pollard, and here we are on the R101, which is an airship
which once again actually existed, which I did not know that. I've known, oh yeah, Charlotte Pollard, her whole thing is she was on the R101, which crashed, and in Doctor Who's universe, everybody died. And she ended up with the Doctor and therefore didn't die, which makes her a whatever terminology you want to use.
A tear in the web of
she's
time.
A temporal anomaly.
Yeah, she should not exist. Therefore,
she should not exist.
Time goes wonky, and that is sort of the theme of her entire run on Big Finish.
Yeah.
So before we had Clara as the impossible girl and River Song, we had Charlie Pollard, who was really wreaking havoc with time and space. So and it's and she doesn't have any special powers, as it were. I'm not, and this isn't to dig on Clara, because I actually like Clara quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it's just, she just kind of, wherever she goes, just things happen, and it culminates in
just because of her existence. It's not anything. It's not like in Father's Day, where Rose purposely tried to save her dad, and it caused the Reapers to make an appearance and start to destroy the fabric of time, or Clara, who purposely went into the Doctor's timeline, or River, who they both time travel and therefore meet out of order. Charlie, I mean, she was never supposed to be on the R101 in the first place.
Right. She snuck on board. She was a stowaway because she wanted, as she calls herself, she is an Edwardian adventuress, and you learn about her backstory. She's of the upper class, and there's certain expectations of her and all these things, and she wants adventure. So that's what happens, and unfortunately she seeks her adventure on the R101. It's about going on adventure on the Titanic.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of like Jack in Titanic.
Yeah,
so.
although the Titanic, you actually do have have a chance of survival. Not a great one, but it's there.
That's true.
Mhm.
But he's
but
not in the, like at the
Yeah.
end of the movie when, old Rose is talking and they're like,
Mhm.
well, there's no record of a Jack Dawson on the Titanic. Like, well, yeah, there's not supposed to be because he was never supposed to be on there in the first place. He
Yeah,
won someone else's ticket.
Yeah, so it would have been
Mhm.
the other guy's name was on the list. But yeah, so Charlie came, she got some guy drunk who was supposed to be a crewman on the R101, took his uniform, took his papers that say who he is, and pretends to be a boy. But that doesn't last very long because she can't hold her accent. Which I'm like, that's
Mhm.
actually kind of realistic, because if it was, if you had a certain upbringing and then all of a sudden you have to pretend to be something completely different, you would have to have very good acting skills to pull that off, and not
Mhm.
everybody does. So it's like,
Mhm.
but then she gets caught up in the adventure with the doctor, and as the doctor is wont to do, he is just like, yeah, I'm gonna, I'm gonna run our run 101. Oh, I need to save you because I like you and you're gonna be my friend and my companion. And then he realizes by the end, oops, bad boo boo here. But then she
Mhm.
names the Vortisaur Ramsey, and it's adorable, and we're like, nah, you better keep her.
Just like the doctor naming the Triceratops Tricey.
Yes. Although I love that she's like, he looks like the prime minister, so we're gonna call him
Yes.
Ramsey.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my gosh, if I
Oh.
didn't love you already, I would just adore you from here on out. Because, and this is at the end, mind you, so they've had the big adventure with the aliens, and the aliens are looking for a replacement leader, because, or lawgiver, I guess, because their current one is dying. And they find it in the old British soldier who, he's, what is a general or a lord or something. He's just kind of a little pompous, a little blustery, but he cares about his men, which I really liked, because sometimes when they have military types, they're very one note, and there's not much to them. But this guy, he's like, yeah, we were in World War I, and that was horrible, and these soldiers were these young men who were mustard gas and the no man's land and all these things were just awful. And he's like, I know, horrible thing, war to end our wars, never again. And it's just like, and then how history goes, because you're like, but he's sincere. So I really liked him. I like him. At first they were setting him up to be kind of this jerk, but he's really not. There's more to him, and he's doing this for the good of his country. But then he realizes, oh, there's more to it than this. Speaking of nuance and getting everybody's side of the story. But yeah, it's just, it's I mean, there are a few kind of jerks in it, but for the most part you kind of
There
like
always is.
everybody. There always is. I mean, otherwise you wouldn't have conflict and you
No.
wouldn't have a story.
Mhm.
But it's just, and it's just so fun, like the doctor figuring out, oh, I'm on an airship, and oh no, my TARDIS got flushed out with the ballast. It's like, of course it did, because the TARDIS can never land somewhere that's sane, like the cargo hold, or on deck or something. I mean, I have a really hard time picturing how the decks or the passenger areas on an airship worked. I mean, I can picture it on a boat, on a
Yeah, I
sailing
was saying
ship.
because I was like the best reference we have
Mhm.
is a Zeppelin in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, so it's like,
Yeah.
and those zeppelins, they didn't last very long because they were so dangerous. I mean,
Yeah, well, and that's kind of the thing with the R101. Yeah, it's
mhm,
like I said, the R101 was an actual British airship
mhm,
that did actually exist. It was one of a couple
yeah.
actually that
Well, yeah.
were the world's largest flying aircraft at the time.
Mhm.
It
Yeah,
was
they
filled with
were.
hydrogen, and it did crash during its maiden voyage on the 5th of October 1930, but it did not kill everyone. It killed it. There were 54 people on board, but only killed 48 at the time of the crash, and then I think like 7 people died after the fact in the hospital. So not everybody died, but almost everybody died.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the thing about Zeppelins is, because people will look like, oh, it's like the Titanic. Well, see, people have been sailing in ships for a really long time, and by the beginning of the 20th century, they pretty well perfected it. Well, almost perfected it.
Mhm.
But we won't get into that. But our airships were so new and untested, so that's why like they started using them, and then they proved too dangerous. Like we got this, the R101, and the Hindenburg, which everybody
Yeah.
has heard of.
Mhm.
But so they're kind of like, well, maybe this isn't such a good idea. And then airplanes happen, and like, oh, okay, this is much better.
I think the Hindenburg, I think was one. I think because it was a camel that broke the camel's back for that type of
Pretty much. It's like,
type
this is
of
way too
vessel.
dangerous.
But also
Yeah.
the fact that it crashed the way that it crashed in front of so many people, it was captured on film.
Yeah.
So
That's why it's the most famous.
Yeah.
But
or
and, when
infamous,
people,
depending on how you want
or
to look at
infamous,
it.
yeah. And people see that and they're like, hell no, we're not getting on that thing. I'm gonna take a
Mm.
boat. That's much safer.
Mhm.
It may take longer, but
safer. Which, I don't know. I've been watching a lot of videos about transatlantic sailing and all this kind of stuff, and that was like the thing to do, which is cool. It's like part of me is like, oh, I wish we still did that, but at the same time I'm like, I would probably get seasick.
you still can.
You still can, but it's not as
It's not as common.
No.
They're not. They tend to be at least with the most of the major cruise lines that do it. Those tend to be repositioning cruises.
Yeah.
So if they have a ship that it's going to do like, a bunch of stuff up and down like the east coast of North America for a while, and then do part of the season in Europe, obviously the ship has to go from America to Europe, but why do it with an empty ship where it's just nothing but crew when you could have it full of people,
right,
and make some money, and the people would be like, oh, I can go from New York to Barcelona in 14 days, sign me up. So
yeah. And so the being on the ship is part of the vacation, which is kind of cool, but
because it's an all include, for the most part, it's like everything you need for a comfortable vacation, all your food and your entertainment and place to sleep, and
pretty much. It's just, I mean, back then it was, oh, I'm a businessman in New York, and I have a part of my company in England, so I need to go there and be part of this big decision or big thing, whatever we're doing. So oh, I've got to go for it's like a business trip, or I'm gonna go visit family, and or the way that we fly on airplanes is how they sailed on ships. So the whole thing with the Zeppelins, it was okay, well, instead of sailing, well, now we can fly, and it might even be faster, except they built them with hydrogen, which is extremely flammable. Which, I mean, and I've heard people talk like, well, what if they'd done it with helium? Would that have worked better? And we're like, maybe not. It's kind of hard to tell for sure, but it is one of those what if sorts of things. But anyway, so the R101, good idea, just executed very poorly.
I found some interesting historical websites that I will have linked in the show notes, including how there's an Italian company that's trying to do a modern airship.
Well, as long as they don't use hydrogen, that might work.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what they're trying to use. But
I am not an engineer. I just know that
Yeah.
certain elements that are
Yeah.
lighter than air are very they go up if
Mhm.
there's even a little spark, and then there are some that are kind of chill and they don't.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Good luck to him, I guess.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And try not to blow anything up, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be sad.
Well, I don't know. Oh yeah. Well, the article is from January, so yeah.
Oh. So it wasn't like something 10 years ago and like, hey, we're
Nope,
totally gonna
it's an
try
article
this.
from the Daily Mail from this past January. So
Okay, well,
but it talks more about the history of the R101 than
ah,
it goes into this Italian company that's supposedly going to attempt their own. So who knows?
you know what? If they want to try it, that is they're welcome to try.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is a
Mhm.
fascinating history, and like just all these things that people were trying in the early 20th century, and just it was like technology was just booming, and it was like the sky's the limit, quite literally,
Mm-hmm.
of
Mhm.
what people wanted to try. And it's like, yeah, not all of it worked, but the fact that they were like, hey, why don't we do this? And I mean, there were some big catastrophes, but there were also some huge successes, just with some of the things. And I think we hear about the catastrophes more because, again, tabloids. we cannot resist. We can't resist a train wreck of any kind, or a Zeppelin wreck, as it were. And we just kind of have this weird, like, the human fascination with disasters, even though not all of life is a disaster. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that.
There's a reason disaster movies are still a thing.
That is true. That is true. My brain's been in a weird place lately, so don't mind me. All those YouTube videos I've been watching. That'll do it. But yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, obviously, Doctor Who will dip its toe into actual historical, as we were just talking about with the Sea Devils episode.
Oh yeah.
Our Lady Pirate, actual person, the R101, actual thing, actually crashed in early October 1930, right near France. Which I always find it fun when Doctor Who, plays with real things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that was always the idea. It was like, okay, the Doctor's going to go visit historical time periods and meet the people, see what was going on, and then it just always turned into, oh no, we gotta run away from Nero, or the cavemen, or whatever else. So there always had to be some kind of conflict. But yeah, I mean, anytime they do something historical, especially that's something that's not, I mean, they've done World War II so many times, or those sorts of things, which is fine. But when they do something that's a little less well known, I mean, I don't know, maybe R101 is well known in Britain.
It probably is.
It probably is. But I'm like, I knew about the Hindenburg, but before I listened to this audio, I didn't know what the R101 is. I was like, wait a minute, what? Like, I thought the Hindenburg was German, and like, no, this is British. Like, oh,
this is pre-Hindenburg.
This is pre-Hindenburg. So that gets you to like, okay, well, let me look it up.
The Hindenburg was not for another like 7 years or something after the R101 crash.
So, but it was just kind of like that. When you talk about an airship crash, that's where for me, that's where my mind went. And then I looked it up and like, oh, okay, there was another one. Okay, now I really understand why airships are not really a huge thing.
That's why we don't live in Pete's world.
Yes, because I guess Pete's world didn't have an R101 or a Hindenburg, or theirs worked just fine.
Most alternate universes.
I know that's always sort of the thing. It's like, oh, this isn't the world I know because there's Zeppelins. Okay, we're in an alternate universe or an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
That always amuses me. It's like that's what they chose as shorthand for you're not in your timeline anymore, Toto.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Doctor ever going to find the TARDIS manual? Eventually, but then he's going to throw it into the...
He'll throw it back into a black hole or something.
Yep.
Yes.
There are some things that are just
pool.
yeah. There are some things that are just sure. Death, taxes, and the Doctor's gonna throw the manual away somewhere.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Him read
Or
that
use-
manual? Nope.
Nope.
Don't have time for manuals.
No. Not when there's too much fun to be had. Like,
How ironic that Time Lord doesn't have time.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh goodness.
Like writing Vortisaurs bareback.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure there's fan art of it. I just need to find it. But I'm like, okay, I keep trying to picture a Vortisaur, and I think it's probably like a cross between a Velociraptor and a pterodactyl.
It looks more
Yeah,
like a
that's-
pterodactyl. I mean, I don't know where this image is from that's in the TARDIS wiki, but yeah, it's very pterodactyl like. But with like very long necks and very long beaks, at least in this one image. So, but I don't think they've actually ever been oh no, I take that back. They appear. I was saying I didn't think they appear in imagery somewhere, but no, they appear as a card to collect in the game Doctor Who Worlds Apart.
Ah.
Ooh.
But probably not on TV because holy crap, that'd take a lot of budget to make.
We had dinosaurs on a spaceship. Why not?
Well, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, and then we had the pet at with Captain Jack and crew. Yeah.
That's true. They could do it if they really wanted to. Maybe RTD will do it. He's a big Finnish fanboy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah, it's fun because this is like I said, this is so early in Big Finish, but looking at like the cast list, obviously you got Paul McGann, India Fisher, who did Big Finish for the longest time, left for a while, is now back.
Yes, and Charlie has some of her own standalone spin-off materials. So
Yeah.
Yes.
if you like Charlie, you should totally check those out. Although I would wait until after you'd gone through her entire mainline run because there's some stuff that happens. It's like, holy cow, that you do not want to be spoiled on, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Yes.
I was accidentally spoiled on one because I was looking for a specific doctor, and I picked one of those, and it had Charlie in it, and I was like, wait, what the heck? So I had to go back.
Because just at the beginning of this year, the Doctor and Charlie re-teamed up for her further adventures with the Eighth Doctor.
Yes, which I'm very excited about.
But she does run around with some other doctors.
She does.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Which is
Those
why
are
I
good listens as well.
Yeah, which is why I'm a proponent of listening to them to the main range in order. And yes, I know it's kind of cumbersome.
But stories do connect, and when they you can get confused.
Yes.
Yes. So
but Charlie is a very fun companion. So.
Yes, exactly.
And I mean, she takes to it like a duck to water.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. It's like, oh yeah, now I know exactly why the Doctor picked you as a companion.
Yeah.
And yes, her continued existence when she should have died in the crash does cause some problems, but it's worth it. Like, totally worth it. But yeah. So enjoy Charlie, because she's wonderful, and the Eighth Doctor and Charlie together, and it just the fact that Eighth Doctor came back and got so many stories, and he's still Paul McGann's still doing them. I mean,
Yeah.
how many years has it been since the TV movie? Holy cow! I think we're gonna be coming up on
It was
30.
96, so
It was 96,
Yeah.
so oh boy, it'll be. Oh, it's been 25 years. It was 25 years last year.
yeah.
Oh
Yep.
my goodness. So yeah, and he's
Yeah, we covered it last
That's
year.
right, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of audio. It's like you can just keep doing it and doing it and doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so if you
And Paul McGann's the Doctor is so although it is interesting because this is again early Big Finish, and I think they were still trying to figure out how to best portray so you still get the feel of a Doctor Who episode without not being able to see anything.
Mhm.
So there's some bits where they're like, oh my, like they're trying to describe what's going on because obviously we can't see it. It comes off just
yeah,
clunky.
it does, but at the same time you're kind of like, well, it's audio, so I forgive it. So it kind of has to be
Yeah.
that way. But they're working it out, and it's
Yeah.
it's all good. So
Yeah.
It's
They worked
still-
out those kinks since then.
yeah, and
This
and
was
it doesn't-
2001.
Yeah, and it doesn't take away from the experience. in the
No, I
story,
found it kind
so,
of humorous, actually.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because like you got the Doctor talking to himself, and even lampshades it by saying, "Oh, that's the first sign of madness, talking to yourself." And I'm like, yeah, but we wouldn't know what's going on if you didn't.
Exactly.
But anyway. So anyway, Eighth Doctor, check it out on Big Finish. This one is, like I said, it's the early one, so it's one of those that's very deeply discounted. And is this one on
$2.99.
Spotify?
It
think-
is, but it's not complete.
Oh,
Because I went at least the playlist that I was referencing where I've listened to others and have now had no problem where they've been all there. And I even went back and checked, like, because I downloaded the playlist to my phone so I didn't have to worry about being on Wi-Fi. And I was like, well, did I maybe not download it all? And I went and looked, and like, no, it's at least the playlist I have, it's not complete. And when I went looking to see if it was anybody else had maybe posted it unofficially, I did not see it elsewhere. So it is on Spotify, but it is not complete. So yeah, you will need to buy it from Big Finish, but like I said, it is deeply discounted. So
Yep.
it is only $2.99. So, but yeah, it's a fun one. So nice little adventure. I will say the one, I'm not gonna be too worried about spoilers. This thing's over 20 years old. I will say when they finally get on the alien ship and they're being introduced to the triad, I guess, of trillions. The what do they call them? The uncreators. The one uncreator that we meet that's in chains. That I found it very difficult to understand what he was saying. But again, I think that's early Big Finish, them trying to figure out how to do like effects on voices and stuff and how still have it be not legible because you're not reading it. Whatever the hearing equivalent of legible is. Discernible. So that's probably like my one kind of maybe a little gripe with this one, and the fact that it is early Big Finish and therefore they're trying to still figure this whole thing out is the effects that they were putting on the alien voices. 2 out of the 3 really easy to understand. The one I was like, what is he saying? So
Yeah, I had to pop back a couple times to be like, what is going on?
yeah,
But it wasn't too bad.
you still get the gist of what's going on. So
Oh yeah.
that's an icing, but that was probably my one little gripe was, but again, it was early days. They were still trying to figure things out, so
Yeah.
I will forgive them.
And we got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
Yep. So, but yeah, this was fun. It was a good pick, Chrissy.
Yes. I will happily go back to 8th Doctor any time of the of any time. Anyway, well, anything else anyone wants to say?
I think we're good.
Okay.
That's a lot of Doctor Who for one episode.
It is indeed.
Well, Chris, if you got to all the Big Finish fans, don't worry. We're going to be talking another Big Finish here at the end of the month.
Oh yeah,
this is true because
Chrissy's not the only birthday girl.
No, Brittany's birthday is
In the near
early
future.
June. And mine's in the middle of May, but because of scheduling and stuff, we did my birthday one early in May, which is fine. And so yeah, Brittany, should we go ahead and tell people what yours is going to be, so they can be listening if they want?
I don't. Sure. The one for sorry. The one I chose is the Spectra of
Lanyon Moore.
Lanyon Moore. I think like my
Yes.
brain froze. Like what?
Yeah. So
So-
that one. That's
Another 6 Doctor and Evelyn.
Yep.
With the Brigadier.
Yes.
That one is fun. Spoiler alert. So
Colin
yeah.
Baker and Nicholas.
Yep. It's so good to go back and listen to some of these that have people
Yes.
who are no longer with us, because it's like, oh, I'm so glad you got that when you did.
Yes, exactly.
So anyway, so look forward to that. That will be first week of June. Correct?
No, it will be right now, unless something weird happens. Knock on wood. That
We're
will be
recording it Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
Okay.
Memorial Day weekend.
Okay. So you have
End of May.
end of May. So this is beginning of May. Then you have end of May if you want to listen to Spectre of Lanyon Moore and send us your thoughts. And again, if you want to send us feedback, as our lovely feedbackers did today, we had a lot. Holy cow, it was awesome. You can send us feedback via email, which our email address is fiveishfangirls@gmail.com. And you can also visit our website, which is thefiveishfangirls.com, which has links to all of our social media, YouTube comments. Like we got one on YouTube this week and read it out. So thank you for that. And Facebook and Instagram and those kind of places too. You can also find ways to support the podcast through our Patreon or our merchandise shop. And again, those are all linked on our website. And as always, we thank you for listening. Thank you for sending feedback and interacting with us through our social media. Yeah, we're just glad to know we have listeners and people taking the time to interact with our podcast and what we do. And everyone stay safe and stay sane out there. And whatever it is you do, keep on doing it.
And hopefully everyone is enjoying the new website.
Yes, we
and
do
finding those links. I mean, they're at the very top of the page, no matter which page you're on. So
yes, I forgot to mention that we do have our revamped. I mean, it's still the same website. It just looks.
Yeah, it's the same
shiny.
URL. It takes you to you don't have to worry about remembering a new address. The address is exactly the same. It's just
there we are.
Updated look.
Yep. So there you go.
But if anybody is struggling to find stuff because they're like, oh my goodness, this is not how I remember it, please let us know. And
Mhm.
I will try to fix it so that it's not as, you're not as lost.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that feedback address works for that as well. So, you know. Anyway.
Give us a holla if you lost.
Whoop whoop. Love you guys.
Yep.
All right. Well,
All right. So, unless anyone has anything else, we shall sign off for this week.
This is Brittany and Belvedere saying goodnight.
this is Chrissy saying goodnight from Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin saying good evening.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. You know, as much as we love books, if the doctor really wants someone to come and range his bookshelves for him, please call. We will be more than happy to sort through your book collection, doctor.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
You have been listening to the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. You can find more episodes and information at thefivishfangirls.com. Any and all books, movies, games, and any other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied. If you wish to support the show, the easiest way is to leave us a rating and review. More ratings and reviews will make it easier for others to find the show. If you wish to support us monetarily, you can do so at patreon.com/Fiveish Fangirls Podcast. All money goes towards fees and equipment to keep the show going. For official Fiveish Fangirls merchandise, visit redbubble.com/people/Fiveish Fangirls. We love hearing from our listeners and encourage feedback. You can email us at fiveishfangirls@gmail.com. You can also like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fiveish Fangirls. Thank you so much for listening, and may the squee be with you.